Last Poll podcast. I'm here with my special guest. I keep wanting to say homage. I'm just going to do it. I look at your name and I'm like,
man.
that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So you can pronounce
No worries.
Skane Gang, Skine Gang if you want. It's fine. I don't even freaking care, right?
Okay.
That's good.
That sounds like a
I
fair
just
trade.
hit record. We were doing like pre-show and you asked me a really good question. And let me like reiterate it again, just in case I misunderstood. But essentially it was like,
Sure.
hey, started the guild. It's scaled to a lot of people. Like Skane Gang has like 9,000 people in the Discord. Are you still doing everything, or like what are you doing? Is that kind of the gist
Exactly.
of it?
I find that it can be such a time sink, especially as like you're the guy, you're the Skane Gang guy. I'm kind of the guy for War Pigs. It's like we got stuff to do. We got to do streams and videos and all this other stuff, and it's like guild stuff is a lot of time, right? So how do you divide that? And are you
Yeah,
hands off with it now? Or are you still
I'm
doing everything?
pretty hands off, but not totally hands off. It's a really good question. I am nothing without the mod team at this point. Like I actually feel like I got quite lucky. I had a whole bunch of people where I just approached them and I just said, hey, like, would you like to help out? Or I just said, hey, looking for people who'd be interested in helping out. And over the years, there's been some turnover, right? Like some people are happy to mod for a
Right.
little bit, and then they're like, I've kind of moved on from the game, so whatever. And I have some mods that are almost sort of in an honorific position at this point. Like they really don't do a
Okay.
ton, or they do like things in spurts or do like very specific things. But for the most part, like because last year I went off to school, right? I restarted school, and I knew that when I did that, I wasn't gonna have time to do everything anymore. So I kind of just said, "Hey, folks, like it's on you guys, and I'm going to monitor it the best I can, but I can't focus on it." And they did an incredible job. The challenge though is that no matter what, you have to be involved to some extent, otherwise it'll kind
Yes.
of fall apart, right?
Absolutely.
What's interesting is that you'll notice that other content creators, they have their own guilds, but they barely ever talk about them, and the guilds are more like a social thing. That, in my
Okay.
opinion, is honestly probably the best thing to do if you're going to be a content creator, because what I've done makes me enemies, right? People do not like me because
Oh.
I have basically said, hey, this is how we're doing things. My rules are the highway. See you later, right? And so over the years,
Wait a
I've
minute.
probably
What's
had to
not to
ban
like
under
about that?
20 people, but yeah.
People don't like that? Like you're saying that your Discord rules are the highway, or are you saying your raid group rules are the highway? Or like what are you
I'm
talking
saying
about?
I'm the boss. I can do whatever I want. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I mean, we have rules in the Discord, and if people don't abide by the rules, they're gone.
Yeah.
One thing that I had to learn, I took a lot of abuse, right? Like people would be kind of rude to me. And at some point I
Really?
was like, actually, this is my house. And if you're going to be a total jerk to me, I will remove you. And goodbye.
Ah.
Right. So
Yeah.
there've had to be some moments where apparently for a while people were like, "Oh, all of the moderators are just so mean and so evil." I just have a no tolerance policy now. Like if you're even like the slightest bit rude to me or the mods, I'm just going to get rid of you because I don't want to deal with it. I do this for fun. If I'm not having fun,
Wow.
I'm not doing it anymore. So that is the challenge of having a big community like that.
Right.
It's you're just going to have people that join and they want to sort of use your resources or whatever, but they don't necessarily agree with how you operate things. And at some point,
Right.
you can try to kowtow to that, but it's not a good idea. You just need to say, nope, we're done, right? Like if
Yeah.
you don't like
Yeah.
it, go do your own thing. No big deal. And I'm not offended. Like I know there's lots of people that like I probably had 3 teams leave or maybe 5 teams leave in the last 6 months because they got mad at me for various things. And I'm like, hey, I'm super happy for you. If you had a good time here and now you're not, then leave. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing because people have joined Skane Gang not because of me at this point, but because of what we do, which is a very different thing. Because when we first started, people were joining because of me. It was my Twitch community guild. But now it's like the, hey, we make raid statics thing. And then as a side, it's also the community guild. Some people have no idea who I am that are in the Discord, which is totally fine, but it does create a bit of a different vibe and can be a little bit weird sometimes. Like, for example, if I'm sharing my referral link, right, which I go to every team and I say, here's the referral link, click it if you want, don't click it if you don't want to, help support the channel in the Discord, I pay for things, right? And, you know, some people take issue with that. They're like, hey, I don't think you should be advertising to us. And I'm like, you're in my house, right? But they don't really quite get that because there's like a bit of a disconnect, right? And I don't do it very often, right? It's not like once a week I'm posting my link and telling people to buy the game or something. It's like a couple times a year when things come up, right? So I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but you do face some interesting problems when you have a rather large community and extends sort of beyond just your persona and you're offering like I don't know, you're like offering a service, right? The bigger challenge, sorry, I'm tangenting hard, but the bigger challenge is that I don't charge for it, right? It's not like you come into Scan Gang and it costs you money, right? So it's all volunteer ran. I'm paying for the website costs and I've paid for a bot in the Discord and like various things like that. And other people have contributed for like Discord boost so that we keep our vanity URL and all that sort of stuff. But it's, I don't know. It's just a really interesting dynamic with people. And I don't charge people. Therefore, I don't want to put up with your garbage, right? That's kind of how I view it. Like, if you're paying me, I might be more tolerant to some of the nonsense, but when you're not paying me, I will not tolerate the nonsense. That's kind of how I view it.
You know what's most surprising to me is you say we got closing in on 9,000 people. You've been doing this for so many years. You've only had to ban 20 people? That's it?
Well, I mean, I've banned bots and stuff, but yeah, I've probably had to like have I have all kinds of stories. Oh, I just gotta like you're gonna have to share some unhinged stories about people that you've had to ban and stuff after this. But like
I got a few.
here's a doozy. So there was a guy that used to do a ton of training and stuff, and we like really liked him, right? But then all of a sudden one day, he just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of went a little crazy. He didn't like, okay, I actually know the real catalyst. It was kind of stupid. He was kind of over posting or over pinging in our Discord LFG, and somebody else actually approached the mod team and said, hey, he's like pinging every 10 minutes and it's just kind of like to try to fill the same group. Ooh. And it's just like a little bit much. So one of our moderators reached out to him and said, hey, you know, and this is like the exact phrasing. Hey, we're really grateful that you're doing this. However, can you slow the pings down a little bit just so that we're not over pinging?
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, really harmless, no big deal. No one's in trouble or anything. It was merely like, hey, just like slow it down a bit, right? Well, this guy decided that he wanted to create his own podcast, and he made like 20 episodes where it's just him talking. And in like a bunch of the episodes, he's just like shit talking the moderators in Scan Gang. and he like goes off about that instance where he's like, I don't like how they're running things. I think this is evil, blah, 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 blah. Just on and on and on and on. And so I listened to this because he's posting it in the Discord, by the way.
No way.
And I then say, okay, well, like this is not good. So I message him. And by the way, this is what I mean by things have changed. If I just caught somebody doing that now, I wouldn't even talk to them. I'd just ban them and then move on. Like I don't want to spend time trying to rehabilitate people. I don't do that. But back then I did. So I reached out to him and I just said, hey, look, can we have a chat? And so I went in and I also did something that I probably, again, wouldn't do in exactly the same way, but I recorded the conversation because I thought that he might try to
Mhm.
twist it. And I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
ask for permission. I just recorded it, which I probably wouldn't do now. Like usually what I do now is I say, hey, you can bring somebody and I'll bring somebody. Right. So we've each got like people that can vouch for what happened essentially.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get
Yeah.
into this meeting and I just say, look, I listened to your stuff. I think it's really defamatory and I didn't know you felt that way. And I think that's just a little bit aggressive, right? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit strange. I said, I'm going to ask that you take those things down because I just think it's a little bit much.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm not going to let you take away my right to free speech.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
and I'm like, I'm not. You can say those things, but I'm just telling you that if you leave that up and you're saying these things, then your free speech will have consequences. And we go back and forth, over and over and over and over and over again, right? And I just say, look, like I think you're way overboard here. This is not appropriate. It's even weirder because you're posting it in the very Discord that you're constantly criticizing. You've never spoken to us
Right.
about any of these issues. This is really uncomfortable, okay? Like, it's really
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So I'm going to need you to take those down or I'm going to remove you from the community. And he's like, I'm not taking them down. And I'm like, then I'm removing you from the community. So I
Yeah.
removed him from the community. And then guess what he did? I'm glad I recorded it. He went to all his teams and stuff and was like, and said all the stuff that didn't happen. So I just sent them all the link, but then all those people got mad at me because they're like, you recorded it without his permission. I'm like, well, I think it was a good thing that I did that.
Yeah.
But again, now I don't know that I would do that in the same way. I think it is
Mm,
maybe a little bit sneaky,
yeah.
but then he threatened to sue me actually. He said, you recorded me without my permission. And I was like, buddy, like I'm in a one consent. I mean, you just do it, right? You'll get laughed out of the lawyer's office. Yeah, so that was one of them. I also banned a mod
Oh
one
my goodness.
time because he was gaslighting me. It's yeah, a long story, but he was just, I don't know. He's just weird. He was just gaslighting me really hard. And I eventually had to remove him. And then, I have no idea. There's so many random things that have happened. I've seen people get like super pissed
Wow.
off at each other and I've had to mediate. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, I
only
guess
Guild
those are the
Wars
crazy ones.
2 lawsuit threat I've ever heard of in my life. That's a new one for me.
I did have
I'm gonna sue
somebody,
you.
can I find a copy of that actually? Ooh, I don't know if I can find. I got some hate mail. Oh man, this one's kind of crazy, but there was a group and there was a guy that was leading these two teams and this is what I mean by it extended beyond my persona, so to speak. This guy was running
Mhm.
teams and years ago he was going off saying how he basically hates all streamers and content creators. And there was this big altercation because in his group somebody was recording their own gameplay and posting it on YouTube. And you're supposed to get permission from your team if you're going to record. But
Mhm.
it's usually not that big of a deal, right? You're just like, I'm just going to record my own gameplay and like whatever, right? There's no voices or anything. This guy lost his freaking mind at people about this. Like he made it a huge deal. And I'm like, I don't think it
Wow.
needs to be that big of a deal. Like the guy's already taken down the video. There's no voices in it. It's literally your character. Like I just can't, like I can't empathize with this position. I don't get it. I just think it's
Yeah.
a bit silly, right?
Agreed.
It's silly to me. Maybe it's not silly to them. I respect that. But to me, it seemed like a lot to get upset about, or such a little thing to get a lot of upset about.
No, it certainly is. Like, what are they gonna judge you on your gameplay? Like, is this guy against posting logs? This guy against, like,
Yeah,
is he
I don't
against
know.
Wingman?
I don't
Very
know. I tried to
strange.
explain that basically he's being recorded everywhere he goes, but that didn't really that didn't work out well for me. Again, I just shouldn't argue with people. Again, it's come
Yeah.
down to like if people are going to cause trouble like that, I just remove them now. I don't have a big
Yeah.
conversation. I don't try to rehabilitate. It's not my job. So
Yeah.
this guy, I let him like coexist with me, even though he really didn't like me. And eventually, I just got, honestly, I admit I kind of mentally broke. I got so tired of this guy getting super upset about really like in my opinion, or from my vantage point, things that were rather small, because the thing that really broke the camel's back, so to speak, was okay. This is something that maybe a lot of people don't know about, but there came a time when we thought, what if we made a website? We need a database to manage all of the people that are filling out our Google form, because we had over 2,000, I think over 2,500 entries on our Google form or something. It was a lot.
Wow.
So the Google form was super slow, and the spreadsheet wasn't working. The spreadsheet had like 150 tabs. Like, it was getting monstrous. So we thought, well, we need to create a database. And I admit I probably made a mistake here. But keep in mind, the form, this is what it collects as far as data is concerned. It asks you for your Discord name. Then it asks you for your in-game name. And then like your preferences of what you'd like to play and like what team you want to sign up for. That's the information it collects. It doesn't collect your email, nothing like that, right? So,
pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, so this is what we would do, and then that we use that information to be able to connect people into teams. Yeah. Well, we thought, okay, we're going to make the database. So we made the database, and we had it kind of at like the minimum viable product moment. Mm-hmm. And the website team came to me, all volunteers came to me and said, "Hey, we can move everything over." I should probably add, the spreadsheet was totally public. Like, you click the link, anybody has access to it. Anybody can see this information, right?
Right.
Well, they asked me, do you want to just port it over, like one for one, essentially? So now, instead of it being all public on a spreadsheet, it's just all public on the website. And I said, well, that doesn't seem like any difference to me at all. I mean, it's been public for like 5 years, right? Let's just move it over then. So we move it over, and then we announced that we moved it over, and instantly this guy and some of the other people on his team got really upset. Now, granted, when I look back, I think, well, I probably should have handled that a little bit differently. Maybe we jumped the gun a little bit. Maybe we should have been more concerned with people's privacy there. But from my vantage point, when I just looked at it, I went, oh, it's like the same thing. We're just talking about people's Guild Wars ID that's public on the guildwars2.com website in the leaderboards that Wingman has access to, and everybody can see your stuff there. And for the Discord name, like if you're in our Discord, everybody can see your thing, and nobody can actually talk to you unless they get permission. Like, you can have settings for that. So I looked at this and I went, I just don't think that this is, I think it's kind of a non-issue, but it was an issue for other people. And they just kind of they got like really angry at me. And I kind of like just ignored it for a bit, but it got to the point where it kind of bothered me. And then they said that they were all going to leave the community. And then I kind of snapped at the guy, and I was like, then get out. Like, I'm sick and tired of being nice to you when you're rude to me all the time. Right? Like, why am I doing this to myself? So I kicked them, and then they sent me this message that was like, it was perhaps the most vile message I've ever read. It was very like a huge personal attack, right? Like, it was horrible. So I posted it publicly. Wow. I posted it in my Discord and said, hey, look what this guy sent me, right? I then was forced to, he, in the message, he said that basically his whole team felt this way, right? In a roundabout way. So I gathered up all of his teammates into one place and I said, will you agree that calling someone sexist, racist, homophobic, all of these things without any evidence is a bad thing? Right? Like, will you agree that like this was wrong, what he did? And they wouldn't say that he was wrong. And
so he was calling you all of these things.
Yeah. Well, I think the main one, I can't remember exactly what it said, but the main one was he was calling me like a transphobe and like all, and I was like, are you joking me? Like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, I found that kind of disgusting. And I was like, you don't have any evidence of that. Then it's simply untrue. Like, that's really disgusting that you would weaponize something like that. Right? So I said, like, do you agree that doing this to someone with no evidence is bad? And they just wouldn't assert that what he said was wrong or what he did was wrong. And then they got mad at me for putting them in, like I put them all in like a private text channel and was going and like talking to them all this way. And they said, this has nothing to do with this. Your personal drama with this guy has nothing to do with us. And I was like, he said that all of you feel this way. And if you do, then I don't want you here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over. And they just would not say that he was wrong. And all I wanted them to say was, you know, that was a bit much, right? Like that, you know, we didn't agree with that, right? That's all. I just wanted to say, no, I didn't agree. That's not my position. That's all I was looking for. I wasn't looking for them to glaze me or say that I'm the best person ever, be my best friend. I don't care about that. I just thought it was like really wrong what he did. So I banned all of them, which
So this would be 10 people or how many people?
It was around 10. Yeah, it was quite a few. And it was really stressful at the time. I didn't sleep well for a couple of days. And so now, ever since that point, that was earlier this year, ever since that point, I do not entertain it at all. If anyone's going to do stuff like that, I'm just here to play some games and have some fun. And I do this as a volunteer, essentially, right? Like I don't make a lot of money from having a Discord that I manage. In fact, there was a time when I was spending like 3 hours a day managing it, right? So I really make nothing. So if people are going to do that, they're toast. That's kind of how I view it. But those are my crazy stories, I guess. And you know, there was quite a fallout with the banning. Like I got lots of DMs. People were really upset. People started spamming other people's Discords. And like, I was kind of validated in what I did. Then a couple people tried to apologize. And I have to admit, maybe this was a bit rude of me, but I just did not respond to those things because I was like, man, like all I asked for you to do was say that you thought that you didn't agree with what he did, right? Or that you didn't feel that way. And then if they couldn't do that, and then only after there was a massive consequence, suddenly I'm getting apologies, then no. So I feel kind of bad for having to do that stuff. I don't think it's fun. I think it's the worst part about doing any kind of content creation or managing a community. But at some point, you have to draw your own line. What kind of stories do you have?
Oh man, you have me beat by tenfold easily. I haven't been doing this nearly as long as you, and my digital footprint or whatever isn't even nearly the size of yours. But you know, we got the PvP thing going on, and that brings its own, I don't know what you'd say, type of person or something like that. Like, it's a competitive environment. I guess raids are somewhere the same with DPS and, you know, people wasting pulls and all that stuff. But there's like a certain vibe with PvP, and I really didn't want it to become like a toxic thing. And I mean, there are some toxic PvP guilds out there too. I'll tell you that much. And I just wanted to avoid all that. And when I first started the War Pigs guild, I thought kind of the same thing as you. I'm going to have to pretty much rule this with pretty well an iron fist. Like I'm going to have to be banning a lot of people. I'm going to have to be on top of this, and it's going to be lots of toxicity and smack talking and all kinds of bad stuff. But I've only had to ban 2, actually. Like the first one was like storybook. It was hilarious. The dude came in and he was just like so obscenely over the top toxic that it's not even like I hardly even remember. It was just like the easiest decision of my life, right?
Yeah.
But then the second one was a little bit trickier and came with a lot more baggage. Because like I say, I'm new to this whole content thing. I haven't even been playing Guild Wars all that long, maybe, you know, 5 years or so.
Did you have like
And I'm not familiar
20,000
with
subs on YouTube? How are you new? Or no, it's 6,000. I lied. You just get a lot of views. Yeah, you're
something like that.
I'm surprised because you get a lot of views on your videos. So I figured that you would have quite a lot of attention, but you're not getting like the insane people yet. Maybe you don't say anything controversial. I think the problem is that I say stuff that people hate and then they want to like hurt me.
I don't know if I've ever heard you say anything that controversial,
I
but
don't think so
I
either,
guess
but
that.
other people seem to think it's really bad. You know, the worst part about I feel like I'm derailing, but the worst part about being me is that I'm like somehow I'm like 2 years ahead of the Guild Wars 2 subreddit, right? I go out there and I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
leeching is a massive problem." And they're like, "You're the most toxic
Yeah.
guy ever. These people are trying their
Oh
best.
wow.
I can't believe you would say that about these people." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not talking about new players. I'm talking about the guy that's multi-bossing on 7 accounts with 4 laptops and is hiring his
That's right.
10-year-old son to like wiggle the mouse every once in a
That's
while."
right.
Like that's the
Yeah.
problem. Not the not the new players doing their
Oh,
best. It's the people that aren't participating in the activity and are multi-boxing and taking advantage on purpose. And
dude.
and so like
Oh.
I sit there and I just like take all this heat for that. And then suddenly
Yeah.
now the Reddit's like, isn't leeching such a big problem?
Oh man,
Crazy.
I would love to double back and talk about the subreddit. Oh, I have so many spicy opinions on the subreddit, but
Yeah. Finish your story,
I
then
want to
we'll go
continue
subreddit.
with my band story. Okay, so I don't, like I say, I'm coming into all this. I don't know all the names yet. And especially when I started making World v World stuff. Like I've played a lot of PvP, I've played a lot less World v World. And so I'm less familiar with the names over there. And anyways, I'm starting out. I'm really open to anybody who wants to come and help me out or collaborate or whatever. And this guy with a YouTube channel that I'd seen like a video or two of reached out to me, and he wanted to help me with World v World and all that stuff. And he got a short feature in one of my videos. The video did amazing, and it gave his channel a big boost. But after the video went live, like sometime after, maybe a week or two after, I started to do my research on this guy and watching more of the stuff that he put out there, and it's all drama crap, like all of it. It's like this person exposed, this person called out, this person, that person, this person. Like he made, I think I counted one day, 7 videos exposing X other creator. And I mean, like I'm not a fan of the person he was exposing either, but like if you need to make 7 videos on somebody like that, like you need to give your head a shake and look at what am I doing? Like my kind of view is that um people are going to do their thing, and if somebody's making an ass out of themselves, that's on them. But it all depends on how you react, because you now have a chance to make an even bigger ass out of yourself if you go and wrestle in the mud with pigs, right? That's the way I look at it.
On brand. I like it.
Um, yeah. So this guy was going crazy, making all kinds of drama videos, and I just wasn't into it. And um, because he had been nice to me, and because I had featured him in one of my videos, he had like a little bit of goodwill, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I was a little bit gun shy to actually ban people, but then people started coming to me with different uh, stories about him doing various things and being a jerk. And his whole shtick, okay, his whole shtick is he will go and rage bait people in World v World, and he will, do things that are considered rude or bad manners or toxic, and he will get people heated, right? And then people get heated, of course. Maybe they bring their friends in and they, hey, let's come kill this guy. And, maybe they dance on his corpse or anything like that. And then they'll clip him. They'll clip him. Look, this person was mean to me. He danced on my corpse. He threw siege. It's like, yeah, but you were provoking him for an hour before this. Like, yeah, no wonder he got annoyed with you. You were being annoying. And so I was, these reports were rolling into my DMs of people saying like, hey, this dude is being a real jerk to me, and what's going on. And then I got like a video from somebody who was doing it, who was receiving this treatment from him. And then I messaged this person privately, and I sent him what I thought was a nice, respectful thing where I basically said, look, when I started talking with you, associating with you, whatever, I didn't know who the heck you were. I didn't know what you were about. I didn't know what you did. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing what you're doing, but I'm going to say that I don't want to be a part of it. Keep doing what you're doing, but I don't want to be associated with it. You know, all the best to you. Farewell. This is the end. Boot him, unfriend, all that stuff. You're gone. And then, you know, he made videos exposing me and leaking private messages and all this stuff and trying to drag me through the mud. And it was just silly. Just stupid. Like it's just over a video game. Like I just don't want to associate with people who are doing that drama BS. And so glad I got pulled
Yeah.
into it.
Sometimes it just be like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I think one of the toughest things. I mean, let's talk about the subreddit. Fun fact: I have never, ever posted about Scan Gang on the subreddit even one time.
That's very commendable.
Even once. It's been
That's
around
good.
for about 5 years now. Actually, yeah, 5 years, almost on the money.
Yeah.
Never once have I said, "Hey, this is what we do. We're helping people in this way." Nothing. I have never put it on the subreddit. Other people will recommend us on the subreddit on other posts and stuff,
Yeah.
but I never talk about it on the subreddit. And the reason is because I just think it's so volatile, right? I'm not,
Yes.
look, I know there's some good mods on the subreddit or whatever. I just am not always confident that they'll stop things like witch hunting and stuff. I think there have been people that have been witch hunted pretty hard. I think some of those posts where they're like, "Who's a content creator you really dislike?" and like stuff like that. I'm like,
Oh,
like how do
wow.
they allow this to exist? Or I guess the post might not be like that, but people will be in the comments saying all the people that they hate. There was also the Sneb spamming the LFG arc. Like, yeah, true. There was also that where I used to go in the LFG and just leave a character AFK, and I would say stuff like, "Hey, you know, we're recruiting for teams. You can go to this link and check out what teams are available, but there's lots of teams, yada, yada, yada," right? I wasn't even like recruiting for guild, right? It was recruiting for
Yeah.
teams, raid teams. And I feel like that's appropriate for the LFG. That's what it is, right? So I put it in there.
Yeah.
And then people would screenshot it and put it on the Reddit and be like, "I'm sick and tired of seeing these advertisements." And they'd lump me in with the sellers. I'm like, guys, like this is totally legal, first of all.
Mhm.
But again, this is me being 2 years ahead of the subreddit. I was like, guys, you don't want to discourage people doing this. If you do that, eventually no one will post anything. You will kill it. And now on
Yeah.
NA, it's like there are days when it's somewhat active, but yeah, it's there was a time when they really ruined it. So yeah, what do
Mm,
you do?
yeah. What do you do? I do not like to post my personal creative endeavors on Reddit at all. Like I don't have any bad words to say about any moderation of any subreddit, but I feel like just the type of person who goes on Reddit is just like a crabby individual who's like, I don't know, just got a chip on their shoulder. They just want to tear stuff down. They don't want to build anything up, and it just annoys me. Like the whole website's just pisses me off. I just go on there to get rage baited and it works.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like just the demographics of Reddit. Like there can be times when things are really positive, but there are also times when it's like obviously very negative. And I struggle with that. I get kind of I feel like you are what you eat. If you're going to
Mhm.
the subreddit, what you're consuming, the media that you're exposing yourself to, eventually you become a negative person. I started
Yeah.
to realize this was really affecting me like early this year. And so I tried to sort of restructure my relationship with the game and the community and stuff so that I don't take it so seriously anymore. Usually I just laugh about that kind of stuff now, but I also don't consume it as much because I don't want to be around negativity all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you, man.
I don't want to
And
be a
I
negative
I feel
person. I'm
like
supposed to be polite. I'm a Canadian, right? You too.
yeah, you got to uphold the stereotype, man. Come on.
Yeah.
No, you know
You
what? You know
have
what
the
annoys
reason
me
I
too?
had to say that is because you have like you have definitely the Eastern Canadian accent. I can hear it, right?
No, I don't
You
have
do.
any accent. That's false.
You
There's no
do.
accent.
I I think my accent's just very Western, kind of. It's kind of messed up because I lived overseas for a while, so I don't have much of my
Yeah.
usual like a normal accent. But you definitely have the Canadian accent. It's good.
No, I can't sneak into any Discord room Anytime I say, I'm going to say it normally, about, it's over. They're like Canadian spotted. But
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to bring us back onto the subreddit. You know what really annoys me is there's no interest or love or anything for anything competitive. Like there'll be raid speed run, world records posted. People will talk about like PvP stuff like that. No upvotes. Nobody cares. But there'll be a lot of comments. There'll be like hundreds of comments of people saying, "Oh, we don't care. We don't care. This is crap. Blah blah blah." But then like some random, I don't know, whatever, like some guy crafting a legendary or getting a sky scale, people love it, and it's like I get that um sort of is attractive to a wider group of people. Like it's simpler, right? Lowest common denominator type of thing. But I feel like, those of us who know this stuff about, raid world records and PvP and all this stuff, like we should be pushing this stuff forward as like people get to level 80 on Guild Wars and they don't know what to do, right? And I mean, we could hold this stuff up and say, "Hey, look, you can come play PvP." Snap can go, "Hey, look, you can come join a raid team," right? But
You
we
can go
don't,
outside.
or at least the Reddit doesn't.
Like, I don't
What?
know.
And that just
Okay,
annoys me.
I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but whenever somebody's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do?
Mhm.
What do I do? I'm
Yeah.
like, have you Googled anything? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit odd. Like, I get that it is a bit overwhelming because the game is very sandboxy. So I
Right.
respect that people might feel a bit overwhelmed, but I also just kind of always say, you can do whatever you want. There's nothing you have to do.
Yeah. 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 I I just wish that we as a community did a little bit of a better job propping up this real like end game stuff. Like that's another thing. People say Guild Wars has no end game. And people don't think it exists. But you and I both know it exists, but we just don't show it off. And that's kind of part of why I wanted to make PvP videos and cover like monthly tournaments and like really sweaty stuff and bring it to the masses, is so that people know about it and people talk about it and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Am I making any sense here? Or am I just old man yells at cloud over
No, you're
here?
totally correct. I mean, yeah, Cheese just wrote this. Said we killed Febe CM with 99 empowered stacks, which was such an insane idea that no one thought it was possible. It got
Wow.
62 votes and 7 comments on Reddit. And do you know why? Because the average player has no idea what that is.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? Whereas if you go to World of Warcraft and you say, "Oh, like this person did this like crazy thing in this dungeon," most players are going to know what the dungeon is, right?
Right.
So it makes it a little bit, because it's a part of the natural gameplay experience. You're naturally going to end up probably going in there through quests or whatever. But in Guild Wars 2, I swear I like 90% of the players must get to level 80 and they go, "Huh, I guess I'm just going to AFK in Lion's Arch and just kind of chill out and just do
Yeah.
meta events and stuff." And there's nothing
That's
wrong
it.
with that. I just think it's interesting because the game isn't pushing them to do any of these more difficult things.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I guess I kind of almost want some of the onus to be on the community to like prop up that kind of stuff. Like it really burns me that, Cheese tells this story about doing this impossible feat and getting 7 comments. Like I just, I wish that we could have banded together and prop that up. But uh, I guess part of it is on the game too, right? Like there's no real draw to bring people in there. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So my opinion on all this stuff is I don't know that we can. This sounds really doomer. It's not meant to be. I think this is more of a realist perspective. I think it's quite difficult for us to convince other people to get into end game content in Guild Wars 2 if the systems and such in place to make that content great, they just are non-existent. You know what I mean? Like for
Hmm.
me,
Yeah.
I can show off raids all I want. I can train as many people as I want, but the reality still exists that the commander tag is locked behind 300 gold, and if you're new to the game, 300 gold is quite a lot of gold, and therefore you're reliant on other
Yeah.
people to make the groups, which makes you kind of just a victim, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
good. And then we can also say, like, for PvP, if a new player goes in and they get absolutely smushed by competitive people because the matchmaking system, there's not enough population, and then to boot, you go in and one in every 4 or 5 games, somebody goes completely AFK or you just get blasted. Eventually people
Right.
are going to get kind of turned off by that and just walk away. If they
Yeah.
go into world versus world and they go in and every tag is private and they can't find anyone to play with, they're probably not going to play. So when I look at this, sure, as content creators, there's lots of things we can do. Heck, there's a raid tournament coming up in about 2 weeks. But it doesn't matter how many raid tournaments I do. If getting into raiding is a chore for most people, they're probably not going to do it.
Yeah. That's true. That's a very good point. Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough to. I don't know. Is there a solution to that? Are we doomed? Sneb?
No, you just do it because you love it, right? I
Yeah.
don't do it. Sorry, I don't do it because I think I'm going to save the game or the raiding scene or anything. I just do it
Right.
because I have fun.
Yeah.
And hey, if other
That's
people
fair.
want to have fun with me, more power to them. But if they don't, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like for me personally, I just wanted to make the videos that I wished somebody else was making. Like, what I would do every month is I would go and watch Teapot's VOD for the monthly, and I'd scrub through and find, the finals match, look at all the builds and stuff like that. And sometimes I like make notes of them for my friends. And so I thought, why don't I do this and make a video out of it, showcase all the builds, showcase, the finals results of the monthly, and try and make this like attainable to people. And people really, really enjoyed it. So that's just kind of been sort of my guiding thing, is to just make what I wish was being made. And I feel like you're doing
Yeah.
the same thing, which is commendable.
Yeah. I must address a comment in the chat, actually. This is very interesting.
Of course.
From Bogman, which is a great name, by the way. As an average player, I want to raid, but I check the training LFG for raid group, and there is never one. So this is you've just displayed exactly what I'm talking about. The fact that you think you need somebody else to train you on the raid is a problem, right? And it's not necessarily your problem. It's that the game has directed you to that point. The game has told you that there's experience and there's training, and it's in a pure dichotomy. It's black and white. You either know the raid or you don't. And if you don't know the raid, you're not allowed to make a group and go in with other people. You have to have somebody mentor you or guide you through. Why the LFG is dichotomous like that is insane, because it's not at all how life works. You have varying degrees across a spectrum of experience, and you just try to find people that are at the same point of experience as you or relatively close. Sure, maybe there's going to be a mentor or whatever every once in a while, but as somebody who's really experienced in raids, the reason I never use the training LFG is because every time I post there, I have a bad experience. And it's because somebody comes in and they're not willing to listen to instructions, or they get mad when I give them feedback, or they come in completely unprepared. And by completely unprepared, I mean they've never even thought about like what makes a good build. And again, that's not even necessarily their fault. They haven't engaged with any of the systems in the game because the game has never prompted them to do so. So they come into raids, the hardest end game content. They think that it's going to be just like everything else in the game where it just rolls over and dies instantly. And it's not. The game hasn't taught people how the game works enough to be prepared for that. And the game tries to offload that onto other people. So it's a bit tough. And look, the tag thing, oh man, I could go off on this. The tag thing is a problem. All of you shouldn't be like, other people have KP requirements. Nobody's making a training group. You should be like, well, hell yeah, I want to try this raid. I'm just going to throw up the tag and say, hey, newbie raid, everybody join. Let's get in there. Let's blast. Let's give it a go. Let's learn.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And it turns out there's a lot of people that are all sitting around waiting for somebody to make the group. And again, it's partially a systems thing, partially a game problem, but it's also a bit of a psychological war, right? A battle with oneself. You need to determine if you have the courage to make the group. Because that's what I had to do. Nobody, you think things have is just like this now? 5 years ago when I started to raid, nobody would let me into their group. I got kicked from every freaking group, and it was way worse. It was way worse for KP because more competitive players played back then. Now, if you DM me and you say, hey, watched all the videos, practiced my build, will you give me a chance? I'm going to say, if you get on Discord and listen to the callouts, you're welcome to join. But you have to be willing to put yourself out there. I know it's not ideal. I'm not saying this is how it should be, but that's just the reality of the situation. Anyway, that's my monologue, right? I don't think that there should be a 300 gold barrier for the tag either. In my opinion, what they need to do is make the mentor tag a 10-person squad tag with all the same functionality and lock the 50-person tag behind the 300 gold. That's exactly what I would do. That way you don't pay for the mentor tag and the mentor tag is locked behind you actually doing an achievement. If that happens, I am a god. It was my idea. Pay me. Anyway, let's continue the conversation.
No, I like that idea a lot. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because it really, can you make a raid group if you don't spend the 300 gold for the
No,
community
you're
tag?
freaking screwed, man.
Wow.
Like, it sucks.
Wow.
Okay, if you don't have the tag, you can't do anything. Because you think about this. If there's 10 people that get together and none of them have a tag, you can't mark anything. You have to rely on each person to individually move themselves to a subgroup. Like, you can't function. There's no ready check, nothing. So it's really difficult to actually do it. And people just won't do it. Psychologically, if I see there's no tag, I just won't join because I know that it's going to be a mess. It's just not going to be organized. Somebody needs to be the leader. I think I talked about this the other day, but yeah, this is a huge issue. They need to remove the party system, make everything squad, 5-person squad, 10-person squad, make it so there's always a leader. The leader has control, change the LFG so that it's a system where people have to apply to join your group, make transparency systems so I can see what build people are playing or what gear they have, what the stats are at minimum. That way I can decide if they're lying to me or not right up right at the beginning, and then there's no bad interactions, right? But yeah, the default tag should be free through well, I think it should require you to do something so not just everybody just like jumps in. Just make it a really low barrier, like the mentor tag. The mentor tag is super easy to get. Yeah, I believe.
No,
I have
that's really
hope.
solid, yeah.
I have hope. Yeah, sucky situation. It's just, it is what it is. You just have to fight against it. I mean, the crazy thing is every time somebody complains about this on the subreddit, I reply and I say, I will buy you the tag if you'll make a group.
How many tags have you bought, would you say?
No one has ever accepted the offer.
No. Oh,
what do you think that means?
Wow.
I've offered to buy the tag for people and I say, you'll make the group, I will join it, and then I'll buy you the tag and we'll go do a raid together. But yeah, but people are actually a lot more afraid to make a group than they realize, and that's why party finder systems are so popular in other MMOs. I think they should do I mean, they tried to do that in Guild Wars, it just didn't work. Like the public system is just really bad because people abused it. Yeah.
The public system? I'm not familiar with the public system. What is that?
Okay, so this requires like some interesting history. Back when they were doing Icebrood Saga, they introduced strike missions. Strike missions were initially introduced as sort of a gap filler between open world and raiding. They thought, okay, well, people are really struggling with this like massive skill difference. So what we need to do is somehow bridge this gap, allow people an opportunity to do something that's a little bit easier. That way people can learn the stuff. And at the same time, they introduced explorable mode and then public mode. So you could go into public, and if you click public, if other people click public, they all just throw you into a group. However, because of how Guild Wars works, you could have 10 people join the group and no one healing. You could have 10 people join the group and nobody's giving any boons at all. You could have people join the group and then somebody leaves after it starts and you can't replace them because that's how the public system worked. So it was a huge issue. Yeah, it was just a huge issue. Like people would join. Wow. Like, okay, I'll give you like some context. Somebody like this would join. I was doing Freezy at Christmas and I said looking for DPS and somebody joined and they said DPS and I looked and they were playing Core Necromancer and I was like, huh, never seen that one before. So
Mm.
for some reason I just had this feeling. So I DM'd them and I said, what does DPS stand for? And they said, I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea. I was like, right. So like you're gonna get those people all joining in, right, where they don't know things, and it's okay not to know stuff, but you're just not gonna have success. Like everything's gonna feel a lot harder than it actually is because people don't engage with the systems. They don't have gear. They don't have a build. They don't, right? Like that is just what's gonna
Right.
happen. So what ended up
That's
happening
true.
with public is nobody used it because it was never successful. Like if you're going to have something like that, it needs to be successful like 98% of the time or people won't use it. Then it got even worse when Dragon response missions came out because then you had public and people would like AFK. So like an experienced player would AFK and let 4 people just like win it for him.
And he would get the same rewards as the people who essentially carried him through it.
Yep.
Oh man. Hmm.
Yeah, big problem. Sorry, my dog is like going off. He sees there's rabbits outside and
Yeah.
he sits at the window and he likes to look at them. But then when he sees them, he does this. Like he's woof 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 woof. He's just going ham.
That's me browsing the Guild Wars subreddit every day. I go to get rage baited and I just bark relentlessly.
Yeah. Poor guy. I can hear him. He's
Ah,
really upset. Oh, he's coming in. Hold on. Oh, no, he left again. Maybe it passed by. Maybe it's gone. Good. Jeez. He goes so crazy. It's really funny.
maybe
But
you
yeah,
scared him
that's
away. Scared the money away.
yeah, that's it's a crazy situation, I guess. There's so many it's tough. I think people are really hard on the devs sometimes. Like they go really hard like why aren't they fixing all these things? Guild Wars is just such a big game. It has quite a lot of
Yeah.
systems debt in a way, right? There's so many systems. It's like how do you tackle all of this? It's quite overwhelming. And there's always expectation that they're going to add something new. So they
Yes.
end up adding more and more systems and I'm hopeful that they'll fix a lot of those problems. But they can only
Yeah,
do
I
so
think that's
much.
exactly it. There's always expectation to add like new systems, new things, feature creep. We got what, 13 years of feature creep or something like that. Like I'm glad that they've kind of refocused on saying we're not going to stack more stuff. We're going to like uh put things together, right? Like strikes and raids are going to be combined. I don't know what exactly that entails, but like I'm at least glad that they're doing it, right? Like
Yeah.
to me, I thought that the nomenclature of strikes to begin with was a bit of a blunder. Like they could have
Oh
like we
yeah.
had raid wings, right? Why not just call strikes raid bosses? Like they're just standalone raid bosses, right? Like
Yeah.
I had so many friends who were into raids, and then when strikes came out, they're like, "Oh, they're not making raids anymore. Dead game." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, they're kind of making raids. It's a strike mission." Well, what's a strike mission? And then dragon response mission? Oh man, nobody knew what that meant. They were gone. All
Yeah.
my friends that were like half, dedicated to Guild Wars, they didn't, they weren't like in love with the game. Dragon response mission, that goes right over their heads. They don't care what that is. Like I'm glad that they're consolidating things again, right? And maybe I don't know, maybe because they're looking at those old systems and looking to consolidate and looking to, clean house a little bit. Maybe things like a group finder could be on the table. Do you
Yeah.
think that there's a chance of that?
I think it could be complex. I'm not sure exactly how they would do it, but I think there are things they can do to make it a little bit better. I look, there's a few things in the game that I've been begging for, and I feel like every time I talk about it, I'm just a broken record now. The LFG
Ah,
is so cluttered and bad. It must be fixed. I
yeah.
am I am in eternal hell with the with the LFG system. It's terrible. It
Yeah.
needs some updating. It's bad. And then I suppose the other thing that I just find challenging is I don't know, just the way that yeah, the tag stuff. I suppose that's the other one. But yeah, I think there are things they can do for sure.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And once upon a time, I saw that you had an idea for a way for players to get feedback through doing like meta events, right?
Ah, yeah. I this oh man. I feel like every time I talk about these things, people really misunderstand them, but I'll do my best.
Okay.
I think one of the most difficult things in Guild Wars 2 is that it's difficult to ascertain or to understand your impact in a fight.
Right.
It's difficult, especially when there's a big group event. You don't know what kind of contribution you're actually making. And
Right.
then on top of that, there's no feedback in the game in any sense that would indicate whether or not you're kind of lagging behind. This is why people leech, because there's no consequence for it at all. There's no incentive for them even to go and try to actually perform better, do more mechanics, heal more, res more people, whatever it is.
Right.
In my view, if you're a new player, not having the game give you that kind of feedback means that you probably won't ever engage with the systems, because if the game is constantly giving you a gold medal, you're just going to have an ego moment. You're going to think, oh, yeah, I'm the
Right.
best person ever. Like, I'm clearly doing good. The game is constantly validating the way that I'm playing. I have no reason to engage with my build or armor or anything. There's no way. Like, why would I do that? It doesn't matter. I think what needs to happen instead is, like in PvP, when you complete a match, it gives you a summary page where it says, hey, you did this percentage of your team's damage versus the opponent. You did this percentage of the entire matches damage, and then healing. How were you the top defender? Were you the person on the nodes the most, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera, right? It gives you like a short little breakdown of what just happened. I don't know that
Yeah.
all that information is necessarily the most meaningful, or perhaps there's stuff that could be improved with that summary page in PvP, but I often wonder, why don't we have anything even remotely similar in PvE? Why is it that when I do a meta event, I have absolutely no idea what happened? And maybe you don't want to add something like this because it breaks immersion or something, but maybe there's a way that you can make it so that it's not super in your face. But imagine if at the end of, let's say the end of like Shadow Behemoth, you go and it says there's this many portals closed, and that, you know, that puts you in the top 10% of players here, and you did this much damage. You did 1% of the damage in the entire map, right? When you look at it like that, you can go, oh, I only did 1%. And then it might tell you like the
Mhm.
top person did 20%. You're like, whoa,
Right.
how did the top person do 20%? You might start questioning that. When I used to do Drakkar, I would have arc DPS up, and there was one time where I did 30% of a 50 squad's damage. 30%
Wow.
of the damage on Drakkar came from me, one
Yeah.
person. That is weird. And
It is.
eventually, like it kind of makes you not want to do it because you feel like not everyone else is contributing.
Especially considering that's like an end game zone. Everybody's level 80 there. Everybody's got gear. Everybody's
Yeah.
bought DLCs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love this idea, man.
Well,
I've seen I have
there's one
maybe
thing
a
I have to
unique
mention about it
perspective.
though, because everyone will
Okay,
freak
go
out in
ahead.
the comments if I don't
Okay.
stipulate this. You can't see other people's contribution. You have no idea what
Yeah.
their names are. You cannot identify them. You cannot bully people. You would only get your own information. This is just for you, just like in PvP. I only
Yeah.
want to see my summary, but some comparative analysis is useful to demonstrate kind of where you stand. So you can say
Mhm.
something like, hey, you know, the top player, nameless, did this. And you know, this is where you compare, like you're in the 50th percentile or the 99th percentile or the 7th percentile. Like
Right.
it should give you some idea of where you stand, and that would be very useful. I think it could be used for a great deal of evil if you could look at how everyone else is doing. But you know, the thing
Yeah.
with that is, like, I'm sensitive to that, but at the same time, people could do that right now. People can do that right now with Arc
Yes.
DPS. And frankly, I've done it, right? I've pulled up Eparc. I'm like, why did that take us so long? And there's a thief using only short bow 1 on a full soldier's build, right? Like, you can see
Yeah.
all of this, right? You can.
Yeah.
Um, but it would make it worse if it was more accessible and inherent in the game. So obviously you don't want to do that. You just want to make it so that people can see themselves, their performance.
Right. And I've seen the way that new players react to that information in PvP, and it's actually amazing. They really really care about it. They really take it to heart, I find. Like they're really concerned about, okay, how can I get my damage up? How can I get my healing up if I'm playing a support build? Like I just really like this idea for a PvE environment. Like because I it works on people, man. It's funny, like even once you get to a certain point, those stats are meaningless, right? But for the new players, it really gets them engaged in PvP, and it really kind of gives them a carrot to follow. How can I get this number up? And yeah, when I read your idea about that for PvP, it really got my noggin jogging, man. Like that's a great idea.
Yeah, but
I
you will
like it. I
notice
like
that a
that there's
lot of
no
people oppose it. A lot of people oppose anything where they think that they'll be scrutinized. I think it's so fascinating.
huh.
It's so fascinating to me because, in my opinion, it's a massive self-report. Because I'm saying, I think it would be good if somebody told you anonymously where you stood. Like that's
Right.
it, right? That's all that's happening. And
Yeah.
they're saying no. Even that
Yeah.
would be bad. Isn't that
Well, I
just
wonder if
crazy?
people like your whole proposal kind of hinges on the comparison to the PvP system. So maybe these people just haven't played PvP. They don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But like, so the idea being, Sneb and Homage play Shadow Behemoth. Sneb can see that he was 10% of the squad's damage. Homage can see that he was 10% of the squad's damage, but I can't see what Sneb did, and Sneb can't see what Homage did. Right? Like that's the idea for anybody who's about to flame Sneb. It's not toxic, you can't see what the other guy did. You just see how you did and how you stack up to the group
I actually
at
don't even
large.
think
If
it's
you compare
toxic
it
to
on the
tell
second
someone
level.
that they're underperforming if you do it in the right way with the right intent. It's a tricky thing to balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dog disapproves. The dog is still he's again, he's sitting. I wish I could like take my camera and go show you what he's doing. He's sitting on the couch, he's looking out the window, and every time he sees a rabbit or the neighbor's cat, he lets out like a little warning cry. He's defending the house.
That's funny.
It's
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm with you that it's not necessarily toxic, but I feel like it probably is toxic most of the time. Like I know that you're capable of reaching out to somebody and it not being a rude thing, but I think that most people when that's happening, it's mostly pretty rude, right?
Yeah. Oh, Kiba's totally right about this. I think it's weird that you can't see people's rating in PvP. Like in ranked. I don't think it should show in
Mm.
unranked, but in ranked, when you go in, it should tell you everyone's rating. I
Wow,
don't think that's
yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
I want to
But
know what it
I
is.
guess the concern would be, would the higher rated players be constantly dogging on the lower rated players?
They can already do it. You can add people as a friend, pull up
Mhm.
the PvP thing, and go to leaderboards and look at friends.
Right. You can do that, but most people don't appear on the board towards the end of the season, and also most people aren't going through that effort. But but here's the thing though, even if they did, even if the top players were dogging on the lower players, the gold 3 kings were dogging on the gold 1 peasants, right? Even though they're like the same people. Um, really, the answer to that is better moderation, in my opinion. I think like PvP would be so much better. I get keep us to get dogged on by lower rate players. Yeah, that's very true. But I feel like the moderation is so bad. Like I think that's the one thing holding PvP back the most from my perspective, talking to people who are like getting into it, is they see the toxicity, they see the AFK, and they see the trash talk, all that stuff. And that's what seems to draw them away. And I can't tell them they're wrong. It's very real.
Yeah,
It
there's no
happens.
moderation. I'm gonna be real. There's like no moderation.
There's
There are
nothing.
people that. Oh, okay. For context, how many PvP matches have you played in Guild Wars 2?
I'm over 7,000 now.
Yeah, I've almost 7,000. You're probably shocked, right? most
No,
most
you've
most
been
people are
playing.
quite
You're the number
surprised.
one Guild Wars fan.
Well, yeah, most people are quite surprised when I tell them I have like 7,000 PvP matches, and the reason they're usually
Yeah.
surprised is because they're like, "You haven't played PvP like at all for years." I played the hell out of PvP between 2015 and 2018 or 19 specifically. I was an
Yeah.
undergrad. I remember I used to do like five economics questions, then one PvP match. Five economics questions, one PvP match. And I would
Yeah.
sit there all day and just grind PvP. And I really liked it. It was super fun. So where's I going with that? The reason I was asking that is
You're
like,
talking about moderation.
I have experienced people just go completely ballistic. I report them like a million times, and to this day, I see the same people in PvP
Yeah.
that I've reported
Oh yeah.
like thousands of times for like
Yeah.
insane levels of toxicity and AFKing and all that stuff. I think that if you're ArenaNet, you need to just eventually just let people go. Right? Like, let
Fire your
let them
customers.
buy another copy of the game. If
Yeah.
that's their thing, like throw it down so that people can't do this.
Yeah. It's absolutely unbelievable. I jeez, do I even hear this out? I there's a rank one PvPer, best of the best title, God of the Arena Gizmo, who like called a pretty popular streamer uh, the N word with the R on the end in game chat, and then put a YouTube video up of him doing this, and yeah, he's fine. He's not banned. Nothing like. How is that even possible? How like first of all, if you've got all these prestigious things on your account, like you're that comfortable that you're willing to talk like that to another known figure of the community, and you just know that you're not going to get any punishment for that. It's like that's heinous. And then he uploads a video of YouTube, like he uploads the VOD to YouTube of him doing this, it just really annoys me. And it's like they have channels for you to report this stuff. Obviously there's the in-game report thing, which is about as useless as what. But then you can go and file a ticket, right? And I put tickets in, and they just never get any action on them. Just nothing, man. Like
They need to
there
throw
was one
down like they do in
recently.
old school RuneScape. That's what they need to do. We need to have mod or like dev throwdowns where they go on the live stream and they just show all the stuff, and then they like
Yeah,
make their dev character look like Doom, and then they go find the player playing live and they hit them with the scythe like Guild Wars 1, and they're insta permabanned. Like that that's what
I'm
we
with
need.
you.
I think it would be
Make an
nice
example out of them.
if when you send a report, specifically if you do the manual reports by going to the website and doing that kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
I think if that happens, you need to have somebody say, "Hey, we have taken action,"
yeah.
or say, "Hey, we did our due diligence and we're not going to take action this time." I just give me some closure, right? I like there are
Oh,
people that I
okay.
reported like 100 times and there's just
Yeah.
nothing, right?
Oh wow. I usually get a no back on my reports. They usually say, "Yeah, we're not doing anything,"
Yeah.
which really stings. Really stings. But
Yeah. We were talking about the negativity. That's why I don't play a ton of PvP anymore, because
mhm.
if I'm going to play games that are competitive, I want to be able to talk to my teammates and work together. But usually the advice is to just turn off map chat and team chat and stuff. Thinking like, well, but that's just like that's not how you play this game, you know? Like you need to work
Yeah, that's bad
together.
advice.
It's bad
Yeah.
advice, but I kind of get why they're doing it. It's
Yeah,
just
I do
not
too.
fun, right? Like it's not fun to have
Right.
bad experiences in the game all the time, and I don't want to be surrounded by negativity all the time either.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And all the trolls and politics crap in map chat, and in the PvP lobby. It's just yeah, it's unfortunate the state that it's gotten to. I wish that they would clean it up, or even just like I'm not saying go in and ban these people for like talking politics, but like couldn't a GM go over there and just send him a whisper like, "Hey, can you just chill out with that for a while? Like, take a break."
Yeah.
I feel like that would
It's
go a
okay to go
long way
outside.
to just changing the vibe. Like oh well,
It's okay to
that's
go
why you gotta
outside. It's okay. Right? Just
touch a little grass just this once. It'll do you some good.
yeah.
Oh well,
What do you think about push?
I like it. I like it actually. Um I didn't think it was perfect, but I liked that it was very sort of accessible and simple. Like Conquest has 3 nodes, as you know, and side objectives and all this stuff going on. It's very complex, and a lot of times when I'm playing with newer players, they're not sure where to go. They're asking me, "Oh, do I go here? Do I go far? Do I go this?" And when I was playing Push, no, everybody knew what they had to do. Very simple, no worries. And I really liked that the quick matches or the bad matches ended quickly, right? If one team was a lot stronger than the other, then they just push it to the end and the game would be over and just go next. Whereas Conquest, like if it's a bad match, you're still trapped there for 7 to 10 minutes. So it can really sting when you're in a bad Conquest match, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't think it was perfect though. I think that the side objectives needed a little bit of tuning and tweaking, and the
Yeah.
balance is so different in push than in conquest. Like I know that they had the stacking debuff for pushing the cart, but still the team that bunkered harder oftentimes won, which isn't very fun. And I played with some groups where it was just like new players, just like playing around, messing around, no big deal, and that was good. But then when I played with like some better players, then we got versus other better players. The fun got optimized out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I played about 15 matches. There's only one thing that really bothered me about it. Well, maybe two. The first one was that I think it wasn't very clear to people that pushing the cart would give you a debuff, and that would
Yes,
just create quite
true,
a fiesta. But I
absolutely.
think the more prevalent thing for me was when you would get to about 90 to 95%, the game would drag on because people would just respawn and throw themselves into the circle to prevent it from moving forward at all. And you could kind
Mm.
of get into this situation where the other team is effectively stalling out the match by just going in one at a time. And I thought that that was kind of boring and lame. And in my opinion, what they ought to do is make it so that it's not right in front of the respawn, make it so that it's a little bit further out. So essentially make
Yeah.
the 90% mark the end. And that way the games will be slightly faster and they won't be dragging on because people are just chucking themselves in the circle
That's a good point. Was that how often did you encounter that and that was like a real issue? Was that
every
most of
other
your
game.
games? Wow, so half of them. Huh.
Yeah, it felt like that.
That's interesting.
Maybe even if it's one in every 3 or 4, it's still too much for me.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I guess I didn't run into it that bad, but that is a very valid
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of
complaint.
ways you could fix it. I mean, Winslow in the chat here just said increase the respawn timers toward the end of the game. I think that could work as well. I just don't think it's effective
Hmm.
to. I don't think it's an effective way to have fun when you're like, look, the game is effectively over. None of us are gonna die, but the other team is just stalling the game. I think we should prevent stall mechanics.
Hmm. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think that the respawn door was too close to the final point, to the terminus of the push. I think that would be a really simple fix. Just move it a little bit away, and that would be first on a long list of map changes that I'd like to see. I did not like that map. I really, really hope that I don't see it come back.
Yeah,
Like,
Mimi in the chat just had a good point here as well. Some of my favorite games of push were played as super long ones where we stalled out that last 5% and dragged all the way back to a win. I think you can still have those moments, of course, but I still think it's too close to the respawn. I would just move it slightly off the respawn, make it so it's just a little bit
yeah,
harder to stall out that last 3-4%. And you'll still have games where people can flip the tide right at the end. but you won't have as many situations where there's like 4 minutes of you just sitting there trying to get the circle to move at all, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also want to see that middle objective, right? The airstrike thing. I want to see it moved like out of right square in the middle of the map and have some kind of commitment to it. Like in Skyhammer, you got to go through a teleporter to go and cap the objective.
Yeah.
I want to see something like that because I found that a lot of the times the team who had control of the cart would also get control of that buff. And so it wasn't ever able to be used as a comeback mechanic. It was only able to be used as a snowballing mechanic. Like, so I think having to make teams commit either, okay, are we pushing the cart or are we getting that side objective? I feel like that would go a long way.
I captured a
Dog
dog.
cam.
I
Dog
captured him.
cam.
I captured
No
him.
no chasing bunnies for you, pal.
Yeah, he came. He'd like to apologize. Okay, I do have a story to tell about this dog, actually. So this is a weird story, but last night I went to 7-Eleven near my house just to get like a little treat, and apparently it was cookie day. I don't know. So I go there, and they're like, "Would you like to get these cookies for 70 cents?" And I did like a double take, and I was like, "70 cents for a pack of 6 cookies?" And they go,
Oh, it's
"Yes."
6.
Six of these
Wow.
cookies were 70 cents. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like 70, like 70. And they say, yes. And I'm like, whatever. Right? Put the cookies in the basket. So I get these peanut butter cookies, right? And this was great and everything. The cookies were quite good. So I had a couple cookies last night. And then this morning I was really looking forward to having the cookies again, right? I thought, oh, it would be so great if I could go and, have one of those peanut butter cookies. I left them in a box that was closed on the coffee table in the front room. I walk into the front room and the box is on the ground and it's open and there are no cookies in it. And the dog is sitting on the couch and there's crumbs all over the couch and the dog's just looking at me.
No,
And I'm
no.
like, you ate all of the peanut butter cookies, didn't you? And then he rolls onto his back and he shows me his belly and he's like, oh, I did a bad thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's he ate all the cookies. So then I got worried because I was like,
Oh,
was there
geez.
chocolate in those? So then I had to like look at the ingredients list and he'll be fine.
Mm.
He was probably one of the greatest days of his life.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
getting those cookies. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny how they feel guilty and they act guilty. Eh? They know when they're in trouble and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah. Do you have a dog?
Yeah, we have a little corgi mix named Winnie, and she is
Oh.
a huge handful. She's 6, so she's starting to calm down, but she's a super high maintenance dog. We usually take her on 4 or 5 walks a day,
Whoa, that's
and
a
she's
lot.
so
Yeah.
expressive. Yeah, we're pretty active people, so it's not like the end of the world for us, but yeah, she's a big commitment. But we do love her a lot, and she's so expressive. She always kind of talks. Like she doesn't bark too much, but she's always making some kind of noise, like like little squeaks and yips and things like that. She's not yappy, but like she's always talking like a. If you've ever been around a husky, it's kind of like that, where she's always telling you a story.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, yeah, my wife
Well,
is the big dog person for sure.
I became a dog person. I never had a dog until this guy, and now I like dogs a lot. I like him.
Yeah,
He's a good gentleman.
they're great. They're
Yes.
great. Yours seems fairly mellow too, eh?
I mean, he's 4-ish now, so he's mellowed out quite a bit, but he's still pretty active.
Nice.
We try to
Yeah.
take him on 1 or 2 WALKs a day. I can't say the word or he'll like lose it, but
Yeah.
um
Right.
yeah, we try, and he likes to chase the ball quite a bit. He's good at that. Likes to catch the ball. He's a good dog overall.
Hey,
We like him.
while we're talking about walking and active stuff, I remember you were talking once upon a time. I watch a lot of stuff, but I don't always comment. I remember you were talking about you were trying to get more active and
Hmm.
be more that kind of stuff. Are you still? What's the situation with that?
Yeah, I can give you the quick history. So about 2 years ago, I woke up one day, looked in the mirror, and said, "You're fat. You should do something about that." Right? I let myself go pretty hard in the pandemic. Gained a ton
Mhm.
of weight. Wasn't really happy with that. So I
Who
started doing
didn't?
this boot camp at a gym, and I did it solid, like 5 days a week for 8 months.
Wow.
And I had huge improvements. I lost over 20 pounds, gained a ton of muscle, felt
Amazing.
really good. And then I was at the gym one day. I was doing a workout. I was doing a side plank with weight, and all of a sudden my shoulder just like popped, and apparently there's like an audible sound. I don't really remember. I just remember that I just like collapsed and just hit the ground.
Oh no.
And I messed up my shoulder, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I went and got like a bunch of stuff done by the doctor, but they never found anything. So I don't really know what happened, but it kind of put me out. I kept trying to go back to the gym for about 2 months. Like I was like not really doing very much, but I'd try to go every once in a while, and then I would have problems with my shoulder again. So I started to kind of lose momentum. And then I had some kind of like bad stuff happen at my job, and I think these feel all just like excuses, but there's just a bunch of circumstances that happened, and so I kind of fell off a bit. And then and so there was about 6 months or so where I kind of fell off, and then I was like, oh, I really need to get back, right? And so I signed up for some like sports stuff, and I was playing
Nice.
volleyball, and that was in the last fall. So I started doing volleyball a couple times a week.
And your shoulder's okay now?
The shoulder recovered after I hadn't done anything for enough time, right?
All good.
I just kind of let it rest, and then eventually it's been
Yeah.
good. I think it still gets a little bit stiff every now and then, but I just try to really work it in. Um, but what I was doing this volleyball stuff, and I'm sorry, it's 10 o'clock at night. I jump, and I land on this guy's foot and break my foot in two places.
No. Oh man.
So as you can
What about his
imagine,
foot? Was
he was
his foot
fine
okay?
because in volleyball,
Oh
like I
jeez.
jumped and I landed on his foot, so he didn't.
Yeah.
Um, it was just like my foot twisted and then bam, right?
Yeah.
So it just
Wow.
is what it is. That sucked. That was a terrible experience. The hospitals, they
Oh
all had 6 hour wait times, so I drove with a broken foot
wow.
an hour and a half south to where my grandparents live in a small town. They woke up the doctor, came, and he came and did the x-rays and stuff, and I was good within like an hour and a half there. So even though I drove an hour and a half, I spent way less time. So that was kind of wild, but it was like middle of the
Yeah.
night. I was there, and it was kind of a rough experience overall, but that put me out for quite some time. That was
For
about
sure.
2 or 3 months. And then I did physio at the beginning. I did physio at the beginning of the year, and then I got cleared to start doing more physical activity in like, I want to say February, March. So
Mhm.
I've been slowly building back. I've been doing like some runs and stuff. I booked to do a 5K in September. The goal is to do a half marathon next year. I've certainly got a lot of work to do. I built up, my dad gave me his old road bike, and I went to a bike shop and got it all tuned up, new chain and everything. So I've done a little bit of
Nice.
biking. And then I
Yeah.
also I'm interested in this pickleball thing. Apparently people like that. I tried it the other day, and I thought it was
Yeah.
really fun. And there's like an indoor
Yeah.
place that has leagues and stuff. It's like 2 minutes from my house. So I thought, okay, well,
Fantastic.
so I just signed up for an intro to pickleball, like 2 hour session. And if I like it, I'm actually might get a membership there and just like play like crazy. Cause I find that that's what motivates me, is like doing something social with other people. So that's kind of where I'm going with
Oh,
that. So that was kind of a long-winded
absolutely.
story, but that's where I'm at right now. Just trying to get kind of back into it. I still have some foot pain every once in a while, even though it feels like it's been a long time. There's still
Yeah.
complications.
Yeah, it's tough, when you break it, it never gets back to 100%, right? You try and get it back as much as you can, but it's never back to perfect. It's always
Yeah.
something wrong with it.
Well, and I'd broken that foot
So,
before, unfortunately, so it was even
oh no.
worse. Yeah, this time
Mm,
I broke like a little, essentially like a flake of the bone off the side of the foot, and then something on the heel as well. So it was pretty rough.
wow. 2 in 1. I guess the sort of twisting motion as you came down and landed on
Yeah, that's
something
exactly
uneven.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Eesh, sorry to hear that, man. But I'm glad to hear that you are doing better and coming on the up and up. And
Yeah, fly out to Alberta next. I think we're gonna do it in June. Do the half marathon with Teapot and I. See if we can get a bunch
oh,
of people.
really?
Yeah,
He's coming to do the half
yeah,
marathon.
he's gonna fly to Canada, man. That's what he said.
Wow. You say next July?
Next June, we think.
Next June. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that would be
there's a
amazing.
half marathon in Banff, so we're thinking about going there.
Yeah.
Still kind of up in the
I have
air. Like if that
no
timing doesn't work, we'll go to a different one. But
no frame of reference to how far I could run, if I'm being honest with
it's
you.
time to start training
I
then.
do I do like 50, 60K bike rides, group rides, but I have no idea how far I could run.
If you can do 50K on a bike, how long does that take you? This is a good way.
Um, that's over probably 3, 4 hours, I'd say.
If you can do a 3 or 4 hour bike ride, I would guess that you can do a half marathon. It'll be
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
close. I mean, there's slightly different, right? But you probably already
Yeah.
have a reasonable level of endurance, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll do like half
yeah,
day mountain bike rides with buddies and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's a
and
little bit
my
it's a
wife is a
little
good
bit
runner.
different. You should try running
Yeah.
then. Just go out
Yeah.
and maybe like time yourself for a 5K and just see how
Yeah.
fast you can do a 5K and if you have to stop or anything. Then do a 10K. And because like a half is like what, 22 or something? 22K?
22. Okay.
Yeah. So
Hmm. Wow, that's far.
it is far. Like a marathon's like 40 something, right? So it's
These
yeah.
people are amazing. Wow. Well, now you got me curious. Maybe I'll do it, man. Maybe I'll do it and I'll keep you posted. See how
Yeah.
do 5K or whatever.
Cool.
Because I
Well,
really like cycling.
yeah, cycling is like I just started trying it and I think it's going pretty well. I
You ever do
don't know
mountain
if the
biking?
I've never done mountain biking. I just have like a road bike. If I was going to
Yeah.
get a new bike, I think I'd probably get like a commuter hybrid kind of thing, like a gravel
Right.
bike. Because I'd be interested
Yeah.
in doing like a trip where you essentially pack up some stuff on the back of your bike and then
Backing.
go,
Yeah,
right?
man.
I think that could be fun.
You ever heard of Ed Pratt?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
You have to check this guy out. Uh, UK kid, really hopped on a unicycle one day, really enjoyed it, and he gets this custom built unicycle, fixes bags to it, and he says, "Okay, let's see how far I can go." Gets a
Jeez.
camera, a bunch of hard drives, everything like that. He went around the whole world. He didn't stop. He went completely navigated the globe on a unicycle at 19 years old. Super incredible. It's all on YouTube. He documented the whole thing. Nicest guy ever, and it's just amazing. All these different countries he's going through, like you'd never see, and he's doing it on one wheel. Oh man, super cool. Ed Pratt, EDPRATT. I've watched all of his stuff. I'm the number one Ed Pratt fan, and yeah, I'd love to do a big bike packing trip. We've been talking about doing maybe about 120K bike packing trip, but it's one of those plans that never leaves the group chat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you just got to do it. You just got to do it.
just got to do it.
That's
Just
why
got to do
Teapot and
it.
I were like committed, right? Like we're telling all these people that
Yeah.
we're doing it. Now we kind of have to do it, right? So
Yeah,
it's
and
going to be
there's
good.
accountability. Yeah. Well, I hope it goes well for you guys, and you've kind of inspired me. Maybe I'll do a little bit of running, jogging, whatever you call it, and
Yeah,
what do
just
you say,
try it.
5K and work up to a 10K?
Yeah, just try 5K. Just see what happens. Like
Yeah.
when I was in shape back in the day and I was like 180 pounds, which is a
Yeah.
lot different than now. But when I was 180 pounds and I was 22, I could run a
Yeah.
5K in under 22 minutes, which I thought was pretty fast. I
Okay.
think my fastest ever was 21:17, and I got third at a 5K, like just a really small, like rural, local kind of thing by doing that.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Um, if you can run a 5K in under 30 minutes, then you're probably like, yeah, that's a good start for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my
Okay.
goal right now is to get sub 35 again and then it'll be 33, then 31, then 30. I'll just build like that. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's a great goal. I didn't know that Teapot was into running and stuff like that. I had no idea. Good for
Well, I
him.
made him into it. He didn't like. I just said we need to do this, and
Okay. Yeah,
he said,
yeah.
"Okay, let's do it." So when I went to the UK and met up with him, we did a 5K. I got absolutely
Mhm.
owned, but it was good. I still this was back in June, and like I said, I had just kind of come out of physio, and I was just starting to get into it. So I started taking it a little bit more seriously in like May, and
Mhm.
then like I tried, but I still would my foot would hurt after like 2 or 3 kilometers, and so I would stop,
Yeah.
right? And so the kind of the same thing happened, but it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. I feel it less and less every time. Just gotta keep pushing it so it gets stronger.
Yes, but carefully and slowly.
Yes. Yes, very slowly. I've learned my lesson,
Yeah,
believe me.
absolutely. Yeah.
Any hoozles, we're
I've
at
broken a
about an
couple bones
hour
on
and a
the bikes.
half. So I need to go let
Okay,
my dog out and stuff. But this has
for
been a
sure.
really good chat. I really enjoyed this. Just two
Yeah,
Canadian
likewise, man.
fellas shooting the breeze. It's
Yeah,
good.
dude. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I know I'm not like super active in like Twitch communities and stuff. For some reason I get like social anxiety about Twitch chat, but um that's a
Well,
topic for another
you can teach me
day.
about YouTube because I've always just like hit the go live button and never really bothered with YouTube, but that's something I want to change because I feel like I can't stream as much as I used to because of just life circumstances, but I can still make YouTube
Yeah.
videos. And so it'd be nice if I learned how to make better stuff. But yeah,
Dude, I would love to share whatever knowledge I can impart on you. I bet you know more than you think you do, but I would love to be whatever help I can. I see you as one of the Guild Wars greats, right?
well, that's very
One of the
kind of
top
you.
dogs, right? So
It's
I'd
funny
love
because I
to.
never see myself like that. I was just like, I just do stuff. But yeah,
No, it's true, man. Everybody knows you. You're
I
the
don't know
big
about
dog.
that.
Well, I know you, and everybody I know knows you. So yeah, I'd
Well,
love
that's
to.
very
And you know
nice.
what? I like the vibe of making YouTube stuff because like I feel like when I sit down and stream, I feel like I have to put on a show for like 3 hours plus in order to I don't know. This is my personal limitation I put on myself. But YouTube video, sit down, 20 minutes, work on it, go do something else. Come back later, 20 minutes, work on it, something else. By the end of the week, you got something. Put it up.
Yeah,
People like it. It's perfect. I love that vibe. So
it's
I don't
true.
know, different strokes for different folks. But yeah, hit me up anytime, man. Anytime.
Wicked. So where can people find you?
Mostly on YouTube. I'm starting streaming a little bit, but nothing crazy. I think I did my fourth stream ever, like a couple weeks ago, week or two ago. Anyways, YouTube. YouTube is the answer. Snap. Thank you.
I'll put the link in the description. Go give him a sub. Anyway, thanks again for being a guest. Super appreciate it. It's been a super fun conversation.
Yeah, man.
And until next time, YouTube people, we'll catch you next time and stay classy, okay?
See
Bye-bye.
ya. Thanks, Snap.